gentlemen, that was this Friday evening. Still to come, the woman who conquered the X Factor and now has her sights set on world domination. Alexandra Burke chats and performs. Property guru Phil Spencer on the secret of relocating. And I'm back in the 80 allotment, putting an end to your marrow miseries. Now, my next guest was one half of the chart-topping Shakespeare Sister during the 80s and 90s. Last Friday, together with 7 other celebrities, she embarked on the task of taking her already impressive singing talent to a whole new level.
When you sing those top notes, there's something in your voice that really gets me. It's beautiful.
That song is a prayer. She's a priestess, she's a prayer, she's singing. And darling, your prayers were answered. Hallelujah.
Oh. Thank you, panel. Thank you. Please welcome Marcella Detroit. It's lovely to see you, and it's lovely to see you not agonised. I mean, that is such... You're under the spotlight, the microscope, everything, singing in a fashion that you've never sung before. Yeah. How was it for you?
It was, like I said, about the rehearsal. During the rehearsals, I felt like a deer in the headlights. You know, as soon as you realize what's about to happen, it just gets more intensified.
And they were quite picky. They weren't sort of saying, oh, it was lovely, dear, you did very well. You actually did, but certainly during the rehearsals, they were tearing your performance, no, not tearing it to bits, but sort of deconstructing it and making you do it better, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so much that goes into singing opera. It's not like singing pop. It's all about, you know, placement, the mechanics of your body, or, you know, the singing is just... And as far as, you know, a different language, having to learn the different language and doing the right enunciation is just so much.
Well, there are those out there who say you can't understand pop lyrics anyway, you know, so they might just as well be in Italian, but they were, you know, when you're doing a song like that, you've got that to cope with as well. Did you find it... I was terribly moved by it. I had to pull myself together after your performance of Casta Diva, which is a fabulous aria anyway. Were you moved by the experience of singing like that, of hearing your body produce that sort of sound?
I guess I moved by the song. When I first heard the song, that I was going to do the song, every time I hear it, Maria Callas's version, I would cry. And that is the kind of thing it also brought up in me. It was like a tears of joy. It was inspired, and I tried to bring that to my performance.
What made you sing in the first place? What drew you into singing? I mean, you've performed with Eric Clapton, with Al Jarreau, with Chaka Khan. I mean, this is one heck of a pedigree that you're coming here to pop star to opera star with. What drove you into that?
You know, ever since I was about 5 years old, I've been involved in music in school. My father played ukulele, and we used to, you know, hang around the house and sing. He took me to classical concerts. Isaac Stern, you know, the violinist.
Yeah.
And I loved Fantasia as a child. It was like my favorite movie of all time. And I was always drawn towards music. And I played violin when I was 8 for about 4 years. And I was always in school plays or, you know, choirs and anything to do with music and writing.
To play with Clapton must be a bit of a dream come true. I mean, what's it like to work with in the band?
Those were some incredible times. I mean, we toured all over the world. I co-wrote a lot of songs with him, and I think one of the pinnacles was doing Live Aid back in '85. That was the second time I was with him. I was with him for 2 stints. One in the mid-'70s and then once in 1985.
There's clearly a feeling in something like that, gosh, I'm part of something really huge here. I must remember it. Do you sort of pinch yourself sometimes and think, this is a moment I shall never forget?
Well, if you remember those times back there, then, you know, you were probably not under the influence like everybody was. But no, it was incredible. I mean, some of the experiences were just phenomenal. And being on stage with Eric, it was always like he would give me chills. You know, it'd be in the middle of a solo, and all of a sudden it would just be like, oh God, I would hear him every night, but it would still be amazing just to think, wow, I'm on stage with him. But then just to hear him play just one note with so much feeling was incredible.
We know you obviously from Shakespeare Sister. How did that come about then? How did you come to sort of branch out on your own like that? Or was it a duo?
Well, because a good friend of mine named Richard Feldman, who I did a lot of writing with Eric as well, he and I wrote a song called Promises on one of the Clapton records. He ended up living across the street from Dave Stewart and Siobhan. And when they moved in, this was in California, when they moved in, he went to introduced himself, and they started working together. Siobhan was going to leave Bananarama, and he asked me to come over and write with them. So that's how it all started.
Was that a special time then, actually being, pushed to the front, as it were, rather than being at the back? Very much sort of your background before, and then here you were suddenly mainlining in a way. It
was really exciting, I fell into it. That was always my desire. It wasn't always my desire to be in the background. It just
seldom
kind of
is with people in this kind of business. They
yeah.
Get the way to the front. Well, look, you're certainly doing it now. You're going to be doing it again on Friday night with the second Pop Star to Opera Star. What are you going to be singing? What are you going to be singing tonight?
Something equally as challenging from Madame Butterfly, Un Bel Dì.
One Fine Day. Oh, yeah. I used to have a record of Renata Tebaldi singing that. That's a killer because you go in on your highest note. There's no build up. Da da dee da da.
That's right.
I'm not in it.
Very good.
From that. But
you could take my place if I get too nervous.
Look, I'll be there to hold your hand and stop you shaking. It's been a
Thank
great pleasure to talk to you. It'll be lovely to see you again tonight. Pop Star to Opera Star tonight. Watch and see how Marcella does. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcella Detroit. Yes, your question.
This is from a Mrs. Barbara Beard. We have a rubber plant. That was my dad's favorite plant, by the way. And would like to know how to look after it. My husband planted it in a large plant pot in all-purpose compost. He watered it well, but the bottom 4 leaves turned yellow and dropped off. It's 24 years old. Can you please advise?
If you were 24 years old, your bottom leaves would curl up and fall off. It's called old age, isn't it, really? But this is it. Oh, there's a variegated one. Oh, look, we got 3. This is very good. 2 big ones, a variegated one. They're quite pretty, these variegated ones, and an ordinary one. They are hugely resilient, good indirect light in a reasonably warm room, but when they get this big, they need a pot a bit bigger than that. And I put it in about a pot about that big, and I would mix John Innes compost with multi-purpose. That's what's in this bucket here. And you get a load of it in there, so it just sits at about the right level. Tap it, water it first in its pot. I wouldn't do it for about another 2 months yet. Do it in March, April when it's starting to grow away in spring. Tap it off, just like that. Tease it out a bit so these roots come out. It's good to do in a suit, is this. And put your suit on first before you do it. And then put it in there. Important, soil level there, about 1 inch below the new container. Feed all this around it and lightly firm it. And then it will have literally a new lease of life. Once it needs a bit longer than half a minute to do so. But when you've got that just 1 inch below, it gives you enough room for watering. Clean its leaves with some of these get leaf wipes because they need as much light as they can get at this time of year. So clean your leaves, but wait another month or 2 before you do that. We're back to Eve, aren't we?